I grew up in regional Queensland on a sheep property. I'd stencil the bales, I would count the sheep with my dad, and that was just my growing up. So when I came here, I was just very much at home.
My hospitality life started when I was 16. I started working at my aunt and uncle's cafe up on the northwest coast. Just that first entry job, wanting to, learn the skills, obviously watching it happen, and they were tough. That was their business, that was their small business, it was their baby, and, they really made sure that they taught me as much as they could.
I was born and raised in Nepal, in a tiny village, maybe 500 people. I was 19, I decided to travel overseas, and I moved to England, and I worked about 2 years in the kitchen. I moved to run the house. I worked as a barista, worked as a bartender, and I manage a venue now.
I came into the tourism industry from the fishing industry. I was operating as a fisherman around the coast of Tasmania, and I had an opportunity to start driving some tourism vessels. I really learned a lot about myself and a lot about what vessels can handle and how to operate in certain weather conditions safely. When you take someone to a part of the world that they think is amazing, somewhere they've never been before or seen anything like it, and you see the look on their face, they say thank you for that.
Well, I knew no one in Tasmania, so I went to a women's network meeting. I went on the Committee of Women in Tourism and Hospitality. Through that, they were very helpful to me to settle in and gave me a lot of advice. I've become very involved with the local Tourism Operators Group in the Central Highlands and the Derwent Valley. So I'm very big on working with the two together as a regional tourism organisation.
I travelled Europe for a few months before ending up in London, and that's when I learned of my first cocktail job in a cocktail bar. And so kind of just over the years, moving from bar to restaurant, cafe, fine dining, just trying to, get as much experience and knowledge as I could. And then, I was presented with the opportunity 7 years ago to help open a venue and be a real creative force behind it and really put our personality and our experiences and knowledge into it. And this is kind of how Rude Boy became.
Obviously, growing up, I didn't have any channel I could go to for piece of advice, or there was no career coaching or guideline.
I guess when you're younger, a lot of emphasis is put on the what. What am I going to do? What am I going to be? But I guess all that really matters now that I'm older and I think back to it is who you are.
As soon as I knew what my vision and path was, I was thankful that I got the courage to stick to it. Sometimes you can get so caught up in wanting to just keep going that you just don't take the time to just focus on the now.
We have the heritage home that's heritage listed, so we set up the accommodation in the homestead, and then we set about reviving the shearers' quarters and the shearers' cook's cottage. It was owned by a family for 150 years, and I really value and respect the history, and I think it's a lovely component.
Well, look, there are a lot of dreams as all kids have, right? Growing up. But I did always feel deep down I wanted to work in hospitality somewhere deep down. I was always fascinated with people from different culture and different background. I always pictured myself being in the industry so I could interact and see people from different worlds and different background.
I am a great believer in mentoring and always have been, and I have benefited from mentors. You need, someone who knows a lot more than yourself. You don't assume you know it, or you don't just bungle your way through. There's certainly challenges in lives for all of us. No one is exempt, and there's good days and bad days.
What we're learning now is that we need to be more vulnerable. We need to care more about our staff and our families and our own mental health to be able to survive in this industry. And it's taken me to this point to know that that's where my direction is taking me. And so, yes, coming from a small town, you do have the opportunity to move around and gain as much knowledge as possible.
Just go for it. Keep dreaming. Go for it. Connect with people and reach out for help if you're stuck.
I just see obstacles as something you jump over. You don't go around, you jump over it. and you get to the other side and you keep going.